In this video, I will explain why efficiently answering patient phone calls is critical and maybe literally the thing that kills your dental practice or make it flourish. I'm Dr. David Park, CEO of Clear Lakes Dental, and we help multiple associate dentists become owner dentists of their own dental practice with our proven system. So let's state the obvious. In order for you to do extremely well in your dental practice, you will need extremely good phone call people. Without your patient care coordinators, aka PCCs, picking up the phone calls for your practice, you won't have any patients. Obvious, right? Well, yes, but I will explain that later in this video why it's not so obvious and how it's not a black or white situation of having PCCs or not. It's much more than that. Again, later in this video. While we're here on the topic of PCCs being the revenue generator or the killer, let's take a look here. This is literally a made-up chart for the sake of illustration, but the concept here is very important, so do listen. Let's say $1,000 is the average revenue for each patient visit. It's much higher at Clear Lakes Dental, but let's just say it's $1,000. There are 12 spaces for the maximum allowed patient scheduling. If all 12 fits in, then we have $12,000 for the day. Yay! Okay, now let's look at example number 2. In this example, only half of the people are scheduled. And keep in mind, this is just a schedule. Anyways, if all the scheduled people do show up, you're looking at $6,000 revenue. But here's the key. Most dentists will think, oh, it's only 50% of revenue lost from the potential. But there are two major things wrong with this kind of thinking. One, it's a shit ton of revenue that you're losing. Multiply that by weeks, months, or even years. Yeah, no bueno. Two, and this is the major key that everyone doesn't seem to understand, you have fixed costs. That example with the full schedule versus the example with only half the schedule, you still have to pay the team members, you still have to pay the rent, utilities, supplies, subscriptions, everything. Just because you make 50% less doesn't mean those fixed costs go down. Dentists, this is one of the most important things that can help drive your revenue, and I will explain how one of our franchisees went from booked for 3 months to only 1 month. And yes, there is a happy ending. Now, he's actually booked out more than before because we optimized for patient scheduling. So one of our franchisees was fully booked out for 3 months. As time went on, we started seeing a sudden drop in patients. What was 3 months became 1 month. He reached out to me and asked if we could do a deep dive. And so, of course we did. We did an analysis to see if they were missing any 6-month recalls, scheduling patients back for procedures, seeing if there were any practice management system errors, or was it something else? And yep, it turned out there was something else. And yes, you've guessed it, it's taking in incoming phone calls. When the schedule was booked out for 3 months, the clinic had 5 PCCs. They took in all the phone calls and booked the schedule appropriately. After a year passed, it turned out there were only 2 PCCs left out of the 5. So the problem wasn't the incoming patient calls. There were so many of those. In fact, the data showed that the clinic got increased unique phone calls, meaning that there were more and more patients interested in coming to our CLD clinic. It was just that there were so many phone calls and only 2 people were taking in those phone calls. So that was a major issue that needed resolving first, fast. So we hired out more PCCs, and just like that, we started getting our schedule filled up and actually went beyond that. So proud of our franchisee owner doc. Obstacles to getting your patients on the schedule quickly should be your #1 goal. Again, it sounds simple, but it's not. Let's dive into it. First, I think it's important to choose the right phone systems that's right for you. There are so many phone systems out there. I don't really have a personal recommendation because they're all pretty much good. Although what you really want to look out for is making your system the best of the best. You have to keep optimizing your call center. I'll tell you everything we have, and hopefully it will be a good start for your dental practice. First, you want to minimize the phone call duration. This is the crucial part. Minimizing the phone call duration does not mean that you give bad service. It means that we don't talk about Sally's dog that gave birth to 5 puppies. No, we gotta stick to the script. Oh, and that'll be our next thing. I would highly recommend for your PCC team to use scripts. Freestyling without systems is both taxing on the brain and it doesn't work. There is absolutely no consistency. Phones without a system will depend on the user's ability, which in this case is the PCC. And this might work short term, but consistency is the true winner. Scripts also help with de-escalation. We all been there and done that and had a terrible patient. As in, you did everything right and your team members did everything right, and yet the patient is still upset. Sort of like when someone orders a Starbucks coffee and claims it to be too sweet and demands another one even though that's exactly what they ordered. Yeah, those kind of people. Anyways, the scripts will help our PCCs not say the wrong things and stay on track. Scripts are a must. Having the right systems for training, minimizing phone call duration, getting straight to the point, patient de-escalation training, how to tackle insurance, use of scripts, interpreter requests, ongoing support for PCCs, and getting back to voicemail. All of these optimizations will help save time for your PCCs so they will be able to take more phone calls. Now that we talked about maximizing your phone calls and how it generates massive revenue, we still need to know how to optimize for your overall systems. And it's not what you think. Subtracting from your systems instead of adding is equally important. Trim the fat is what I call it. You can see my concept here. Au revoir.